This is the CBC Morning Report for today, Monday, September 18th. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story, where is the voice of the trade unions on matters such as climate change and climate financing? That is the question being asked by Sandra Messiah, Sub-Regional Secretary for the Caribbean Public Services International, who was recently addressing the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations midterm conference. PSI has 30 million members throughout the world. Ms. Messiah believes that the workers' voice must be heard on all matters, even climate change, but nothing is forthcoming.
From the workers who will have to make these things happen, one is not hearing anything. And it bugs me. And perhaps someone who's here can tell me, why is it that you're not making the statements? Why aren't you presenting the views of your current and potential membership? That's what the people out there want from you, you know. They want to join unions because they do recognize the value. They do want an organization that can speak on their behalf. But they're looking and they're listening, and maybe, just maybe, you're not saying the things or doing the things that they want to hear or want to know that you are doing.
Ms. Messiah says her organization is also concerned about some actions by the private sector.
Public service workers help out even private sector. And therefore we need to be very careful about how we view public services workers now and what we see as the future of public services. One of the things that we've been tackling within PSI revolves around the greed of the corporate world. And I'm not excluding Barbados from this. And what is happening is that profit is being put before people. That is why in our Congress, we will be having our Congress in October in Geneva, and I hope to see, if not at least one, maybe a couple from C2SAB and its affiliates there. Hint, hint. Our theme is, in a world of multiple crises, people before profit.
The trade union movement is growing and more employees are joining to get the necessary representation in their workplaces. She says there is also growing unrest spurring international protests.
Not only in public services, but workers as well in the private sector. In areas that we never thought we would have seen union membership soar. The Starbucks and the Amazons, who are joining unions, who are joining organizations that are tackling a lot of these issues and protesting the ways in which the corporate world has captured governments. Because that's the thing. We tend to always want to attack and think that governments are our enemies. Not necessarily so. Corporate world is actually now finding ways of capturing governments. And I'd like you to think about that and see if you see any parallels. I am not here in Barbados often, so many times I have to try and catch up with what's going on. Over the last few, maybe 2 months, and as recently as 2 weeks ago, I've been talking with our affiliates across the Caribbean in particular. And it seems that everybody is coming up with a theme that suggests there is introspection. Because I have interpreted your theme to be saying we need to look at ourselves to see how we get things done in this transformative age. There's one departure I would like to make from what I've been hearing before. That world out there is not to dictate to me how to behave and act. We're the ones to say what kind of digitalization we want.
Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, we'll hear why St. Lucia's Prime Minister has recalled a commissioner of police.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you. For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q...
St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre has further explained his government's decision to recall Crustica Descartes Peluis as police commissioner. The commissioner was appointed effective 1st of September 2023 for 1 year. DBS Television reports.
When he announced the reinstatement of Crusita Descartes Peluis as police commissioner, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre explained that this would clear the way for younger leadership, that in the year of Descartes Peluis' tenure, senior officers would undergo training to prepare them for her departure. Speaking on a local radio program on Thursday, the Prime Minister elaborated on the rationale behind recalling Descartes Peluis. He believes that at least one of the current batch of senior police officers will be ready to assume the role in a year's time.
There's Philip, there's Thomas, there's Shalry, who was there before. There's Philip Thomas Shalry. There's Gaston. There's a very promising. There's Dr. C. There's that, So we just, for our own reasons, we blow these things out of the water. These are young, promising policemen. Philip is 47 years of age. Shalry, I think, is 50. You understand? So these are, Thomas is 30 something. You understand? So they are very young, promising police in the police force. But at the time, we thought that, listen to me, there's Philip and there's Shari. Both of them, there's some level well, I don't use the word cloud. There's some discussion around them. So he said, listen to me, let's settle that. Let us allow Peluis to return for 1 year. Settle it. And then we take a decision on a new commissioner of police.
Former National Security Minister Herman Gill Francis believes that the current National Security Minister should not have recalled Descartes Peluis, as the force had officers who are already capable of being at the helm of the police force. Deputy Commissioner Ronald Phillip not being one of them. The current National Security Minister, on the other hand, sees things differently.
Philip wants, he's cleared.
What does that mean? How is he going to be cleared?
Because we've asked the Welfare Association, if you have anything against Philip, don't live the young man's life in a cloud. Don't have the man's life on accusations. You understand? If you have anything on him, bring it forward.
And what will happen from there?
I can't say. I don't know. I can't predict what will happen. I can't.
Antigua and Barbuda's government is resolute about keeping the country as the base for air transport services in the sub-region. The latest pronouncements come in the wake of increasing turbulence about which OECS capital should be the headquarters of a regional airline. ABS Television reports.
If it's going to be a fight, I don't think that the Antigua and Barbuda government under the Honorable Gaston Brown is going to shy away from it. We want to keep aviation services as a contribution which Antigua and Barbuda makes to the rest of the Caribbean.
Resolute words from the administration amidst increasing rhetoric about regional transportation. Chief of Staff from the Prime Minister's office, Ambassador Lionel Hurst, making it clear LIAT 2020 is crucial to the government's plans for a revitalization of air transportation in the region. Now, while there have been voices of support for LIAT from other regional prime ministers, they are yet to put their money where their mouths are. There is even talk of a possible rival carrier to LIAT.
Along comes the CDB and Barbados and St. Vincent, and they have proposed the creation of a WIAT. No, they say it's the West Indies Air Transport, but we think it's really Windward Islands Air Transport, and that they're seeking to cut out Antigua. For example, in their planned schedule, there were only 2 flights coming into Antigua. Both came from Dominica.
Ambassador Hurst is forthright. Such a move is both counterintuitive and counterproductive.
They're going to cut us out completely. It couldn't be a regional carrier that would behave in that way, knowing that the vast majority of passengers going to other Caribbean countries find themselves first in Antigua, whether they're coming from the United States. That is, given the behaviors of many of the bigger airlines most recently.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has even proposed his country as a base for a new regional carrier. Prime Minister Honorable Gaston Brown's response was clear as he spoke with senior journalists at his office earlier this month.
I don't know that St. Vincent could make any real plausible case to move the headquarters of whatever regional airline to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I have no difficulty with his ambition, but in reality, if we're going to deal with equity and the fact that, the gains of the economic union should be shared equitably, I just feel that that was perhaps maybe a very unfortunate statement and what I consider to be preemptive, premature, considering that no such decision has been taken to date.
The Guyana police force is using technology to catch errant drivers and hopefully deter them from speeding and endangering others. The country in recent weeks has seen a rise in accidents and fatalities. We hear more in this Newsroom Guyana report.
Speeding is becoming an increasingly serious concern in Guyana. Over the past 2 weeks or so, there are about 20 persons who died in road accidents, and many of those accidents were linked to speeding. Now, the Guyana Police Force and other bodies have upped the fight against errant drivers. They're trying to get them to stop speeding. What the Guyana Police Force has done recently is publish the names of those drivers who have been speeding on the roadways. Now, based on the information provided by the Guyana Police Force, here on the Eccles to Mandela Highway, there were about 10,000 speeding violations in the last 3 months. There were some additional details offered by the police force. For example, we can tell you that the vehicle PJJ 4274, which is owned by Nicholas Braffett, was found speeding about 69 times during that 3-month period. Additionally, the vehicle PKK 7558, which is owned by Delroy Cornet, was found speeding at about 154 kilometers per hour. That is way above the speed limit. Now, because speeding and other dangerous driving actions can lead to injuries and loss of lives, the Guyana Police Force is hoping that it can engage people, drivers, so that they can seriously stop speeding. We spoke to Ramona Durden from the Guyana National Road Safety Council, who told us more about the efforts the Guyana Police Force and the council are pursuing to help deter people from speeding.
We work with the police enforcement management plan, and we came up with a national stakeholders plan where we have training for the errant drivers and training and retraining, and we can't get them to come if we invite them normally. So using these lists and seeing the list that comes out, and so these are the persons we're going to actually target and work with them. And one of the things we do, we realize that persons are not, oblivious to the laws or something because they might not be in part of some road safety, something that we're having. So we try to encourage people to be part of this solution.
A subcommittee is to be formed to discuss improvements to Belize's Carnival and Road March. This year's event was marred by complaints regarding several aspects of the Carnival, including security, its route, its timing, and the scattered alcohol-fueled brawls. Chairman of the National Celebration Commission there, Minister Francis Fonseca, says changes need to be made to ensure next year's event goes off without a hitch.
No, I think the Carnival Road March is here to stay, but certainly I think we have to review and reevaluate the way we do it. You know, this year there were some complications because the Ministry of Infrastructure had advised that they couldn't use the Belcan Bridge, right? So I think, you know, we've discussed that already, and I think we're going to have a special subcommittee of the National Celebrations Commission deal specifically with Carnival and work along with the Carnival Association. So we'll establish that, and we'll bring in some other stakeholders and voices who have expressed ideas, who have good recommendations and ideas. So I think we can resolve some of these issues. The police have a difficult job. When you think about the Carnival, you know, I saw it there on Bahamian. People were sitting there for literally 4 hours drinking. That's the nature of these things, whether you like it or not. So by the time the Carnival rolls around Bahamian, you know, you have a lot of people who are hyped, to be diplomatic, right? Real hyped, and so it's you know, I don't envy the police. That's a difficult task to deal with. They want to be balanced. You know, they want people to celebrate and enjoy the Carnival, but at the same time, you know, we can't allow a few individuals to destroy the beauty and spirit and energy of Carnival for everybody else. So we're going to take a very hard look.
Well, time to preview what's coming up in Morning Barbados at 6:30. It's the first day back to school for thousands of students across Barbados. We're going to be keeping an eye on everything that's happening all across Barbados today. We're looking at natural health, but we're zoning into breast health specifically as well. And we're going to introduce you to the CAC team heading off to Aruba soon. That and a whole lot more at 6:30. But next we have sports, more news and weather coming up. So stay with us.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email.
The real matters affecting youth in today's digital era will be placed under the microscope over the next coming days. This is being done as the Barbados Society of Psychology observes Psychology Week. It got underway yesterday with a service signaling its start at the Church of the Nazarene, Cullimer Rock. Other activities, including a students' forum teaching about psychology and its different fields, an educational session for its members, and social gathering are all planned. Psychology Week is being observed under the theme Mind Matters in the Digital Era, Youth Community and Mental Health Online. President Ronald Pope says the public forum comes as youth struggle to cope with a range of issues. He stressed that mental health professionals have a passion for their work and the profession is about caring as mental health matters.
Care about the people that you work with. One thing pushes you, and that is having the blessings of the Lord guiding you. And as we go through the week, working with the students and also having the panel discussion, the social here at the church as well, I just want to leave you with one thing, and that is mental health matters. Don't forget it. Mental health matters. We think it's a stigma, we have negative things we say about it, but I just want you to remember mental health matters.
While feeding children and creating healthy habits can be challenging, the Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition is telling parents and guardians it's possible to provide cost-effective, healthy snacks. Mindful of the new national school nutrition policy with the start of the new school term, the coalition rolled out its Healthy Hampers back-to-school edition. This is the second hamper drive, the first being in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, targeting Barbadians living with non-communicable diseases. 120 packed healthy hampers were donated with the assistance of its sponsors, Signia Globe, Supreme Distributors, and Guardian General Group, to the less fortunate this time around. Outgoing chair Dr. Kia Lewis says children homes benefited along with at-risk youth from the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Dr. Lewis broke down the contents of the Healthy Hamper for parents to consider.
We've done it in keeping with the Ministry of Education. They said at least 3 water days, so you will see several bottles of water in the hamper. But just to note, an even cheaper way would be to buy a water bottle, right? Also, you will see several fruits to represent the fruit days, the 2 fruit days. And we include a few packaged snacks as well. All of these are very, very reasonable snacks. And again, they're snacks that you will find on the new alternative snack and beverage list. So we've also included 2 100% juices, as this has also been approved. So we're just really, really pleased to be able to roll out this initiative, and we're hoping that we can help Barbadian parents to make better decisions.
Barbadian Sadie Williams ended her Diamond League season with a 5th place finish in the women's 400 meters in Eugene, Oregon yesterday evening. Running out of lane 7, Williams clocked 51.07 as Maridly Paulino of the Dominican Republic capped her season of dominance with an easy victory in 49.58. Meanwhile, Jamaican Sharika Jackson completed a double of the Diamond League trophies as she clocked a meet record time of 21.57 to claim the women's 200 meters in the season-ending race.
And Jackson has gotten off to a good start. She has caught and passed strong. If she comes off of this turn with a big lead, then it's only a matter of finishing the race.
The fans on their feet bringing her home as she extends her lead and now chases the clock against the time of Florence Griffith Joyner. 21:56 will be the time. Still a big smile. What a year. World champion, Diamond League champion.
It's time to take a look at the weather. The barometric pressure stands at 1009.1 millibars. It's currently 29 degrees Celsius outside. The relative humidity stands at 76%. The winds are blowing out of the south-southeast at 9 kilometers per hour, and it's presently fair. Sea conditions, smooth to moderate in open water with swells ranging from 1 to 1.5 meters and increasing. And here's a look at how the tides roll in today. General forecast for Barbados, mostly sunny and warm. Be sure to make sure that little ones have their water to stay hydrated throughout the day today. As we move into the evening periods, here's what you can expect. Mostly clear conditions. And that's it for today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations, 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. It's time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
It's Monday, September 18th. Welcome to another Morning Barbados presentation today. Very important for more reasons than one is the first day back to school for a lot of our little ones. Some went to school last week and, the private schools got out and so on, but all of the public secondary schools are back out today. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. And boy, do we have a fantastic show planned for you. But let's start with a little bit of history, won't we? Official opening of somewhere was today. Can you guess where? Well, on September 18th, 1986, this place at Church Village, Bridgetown, was officially opened by the Governor General Sir Hugh Springer. The complex formed part of the plan for the redevelopment of Bridgetown, which was formulated in 1978 by Professor David C. Gosling, Dean of the Faculty of Architectural Studies at the University of Sheffield. Now, with a price tag of $84 million, you're right, the Central Bank Complex, an impressive 10-story structure with 12 supporting towers, was designed by architect Mervyn Awan and built by the main contractors Higson Hill Caribbean Limited. Prior to moving into the new complex, the Central Bank of Barbados was established by an Act of Parliament. On May 2nd, 1972, at different times, it occupied the following buildings in Bridgetown: the Treasury Building, East Wing of Parliament, Norman Centre, and the Barnes Building. On February 11th, 1998, the building at Church Village was officially renamed the Tom Adams Financial Centre for the late Prime Minister JMGM Tom Adams. So that image is taken from the 1895 insurance plan of Bridgetown by Chaz E. Goad that we shared with you there. And thanks so much. We got this info from the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. You definitely should check their page out. Always wonderful information happening. So a special good morning to everybody working at the Central Bank of Barbados and the surrounding complex this morning. Certainly lots of history. It was on this day, officially opened in 1986. A great way to start our day is back to school. How about that? I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to get on the road early. That means it's going to be hectic out there. So be careful, be mindful of the pedestrians. The children are out. You want to make sure that everybody gets there safely and on time. So you want to get out of the house as early as you can today. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming up on today's show. A little later this morning, we're going to look at breast health and breast cancer awareness as we continue with the series with Dr. Dale Springer. And today we're looking at positive screening tests and what happens after that. And then we're also linking with Dr. Dale Brathwaite, who's a naturopath, and he's been giving us some good hints as to how we can get ourselves back in shape the natural way. So he will be in as well. We're also going to meet the bodybuilding team set to leave for Aruba for the CAC Championships. Sanaj Lewis, Shakira Duglin, and Timon Howard will be here to share with us exactly what we can expect. So listen out for that coming up. But we heard in the news a few moments ago, if you were watching, that the outgoing chair of the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition, they got together and gave out a few hampers, and they most certainly have been doing a lot of work. I know that will be heavily in focus now that the students are on to a new school term and heading back out. We want to make some healthy choices for them. So let's say good morning to and welcome to talk all about what we can expect going forward under her chairmanship, Professor Anne St. John, who is the new chairperson of the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. And we most certainly look forward to working with them going forward to ensure that we're sharing healthy options for our children. So good morning to you, Professor St. John. Welcome.
Good morning, Tisha. It is a pleasure to be on the program once more and representing this time the Barbados Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition.
Absolutely. You've been doing lots of work. As I said a moment ago, we just saw in the news that you were out and about, very busy, handing out hampers, working along with your partners. How difficult or how easy is it to get a lot of these partners on board? Because if we're honest, a lot of sometimes what we want our students to move away from is what's on the shelves. And there are many businesses that are still putting this stuff out there. So is it easy to kind of get people on board and get them rolling with the coalition?
I must admit to you, it has been quite a challenge. In fact, for maybe 2 decades, it's become very clear that the prevalence of obesity and overweight in children, being 1 in every 3 children in Barbados, has been rising. And so it became a need for this coalition to be formed. And what is the Barbados Childhood Obesity Coalition? It was an organization born out of the Heart and Stroke Foundation. And our focus is trying to prevent obesity and overweight because, as we know, what happens in childhood can affect you 20, 30 years later. So we have the NCDs in Barbados taking up greater than $375 million in our national budget every year and 60% of the health budget. It's been also shown that 1 sugar-sweetened beverage per day is consumed usually by each child. So we're trying to avoid the complications of obesity and overweight, being one of the NCDs, which are prevalent, and adults would be familiar with high blood pressure, diabetes type 2, which is epidemic in Barbados, and generally the NCDs can damage most of the organs in the body, resulting in premature death, and this is what we're trying to avoid in later life.
Absolutely. Now, we know about the Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition's efforts, and there have been some real strides, some real things happening. Most notably, the National School Nutrition Policy is something that we've seen a lot of movement on. How do you think this policy will guide what you're doing and help you get a little closer to sharing more and people making better choices for children?
I will share with you that reaching the stage of the National Nutrition Policy has not been easy, a challenge, but thankfully there are so many stakeholders, and the Childhood Obesity Coalition has a membership of at least 25 civil society organizations and many individuals in it, and we have gathered force as what we would say a snowball coming down the hill to become an avalanche. So what's the focus of this nutrition policy? The fact remains that the diet in Barbados is high in sugar, high in fat, high in salt, and the ultra-processed foods are being consumed in excess. So the purpose of the school's national nutrition policy, there are 6 pillars in this policy, focusing on, firstly, food services improvements, secondly, school curriculum changes, third, physical activity, then school health nutrition, community health practices to be improved, and school regulations and school rewards for schools who are moving in a positive light. And the essence is to try to change the habits and practices of what people consume to make a better life, because our children deserve the best.
What are some of the immediate changes that you would like to see that might be easy to implement for parents, for students, for teachers at this stage that you think could make a real dent in the journey, in what we're trying to accomplish here?
Interestingly enough, we have seen some of the changes, and after the implementation of the policy in April, and it got the blessing and was officially launched by the Minister of Health and Ministry of Education, we've seen some positive responses from the key stakeholders. Everyone was prepared for the start of that term 3, but now people are a lot more prepared. So a call was issued publicly to the manufacturers and distributors to submit products that are compliant to the current nutritional guidelines. Truthfully, there has been an excellent response. There is a compliant list which has been recommended by the Barbados Childhood Obesity Foundation, and the compliant list has been shared already with canteens, principals and stakeholders, and will be shared on social media sites and readily available and placed on the websites of the Ministry of Health and Education. Because what has come through was that we found responses in that there was complaint that you're trying to stop people from making an income. The situation is that we're trying to have a change in what is being sold rather than stop people selling things. For example, there are companies who bring in high in salt, high in fat products as snacks, where they can bring the others at no change. And in fact, a list has been worked out also cost effective to try to help on the income that people have to be able to stretch it a bit further.
Absolutely. There's also been a lot of discussion around the costs, as you said, of fruit and vegetables. That most certainly has been one of those things that people talk about a lot. I don't know if there's been much discussion about that or any further movement on what can be done. But do you have any updates on that for us?
Yes, there's a basket of goods, which some may remember some years ago there was this basket of goods where there's no fat on it. And it's a long list, and we have gone through that list and made recommendations for substitutes, changes. So the Ministry of Health, Education and Civil Society have been working too with canteen concessionaires and vendors in preparing healthier dishes, and we believe the School National Nutrition Center has also been working with the School Meals Department, and the focus being low salt, low sugar, decreased trans fat, and decreased ultra-processed foods on the diet.
I know that we heard initially some of the students were opting to maybe wait till after school where they could access certain things to be able to go in the other direction. But you've already told us that you've seen some movement in a positive direction as far as the students are concerned. And what role do you think moving toward a national sports policy, because we know, all of these things are interconnected and interrelated, and now with moving towards a national sports policy where students will be more or less mandated to have physical education in schools, how do you think this will help our efforts overall?
That is also significant. However, one cannot exercise away, and this is a myth in the society, you cannot exercise away overweight and obesity. There is room in the nutrition policy, and also the ministry does have guidelines for the amount of time spent on physical activity, and I think it is like a period and a half a week, but that's not enough. The recommendation is between 30 and 60 minutes of moderate exercise per day. We have to now get away. Unfortunately, the COVID pandemic reversed what people did and practices. Get away from more than 2 hours of screen time per day, because students were spending 4 and 5 hours on a tablet, a cell phone, looking at TV. Get away from that and just go into some more activity. And there's a wide range of activities. Instead of everybody trying to be an athlete and trying to get to the Olympics, be Olympian, there is a wide variety. There's Zumba, there's yoga, there's martial arts, which can all be or could be possibly incorporated in the school's curriculum.
Absolutely. I like that. Instead of everybody trying to get to the Olympics.
It's not possible. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a wide range of physical appearance. There's a wide range of what you can do. Everybody cannot run 100 meters in 11 seconds, but some can dance beautifully, and they still are going to increase their heart rate and get exercise. And the point is to enjoy what the student is doing. A student who goes into school and does not enjoy their day, we are not getting anywhere with that. We have to make things interesting. However, there's the point, one of the most important matters related to school nutrition, obesity, and overweight are being able to decide when we go into the supermarket, parents, guardians, what we're going to purchase. And our coalition is calling for further intervention in the front of package warning label. This is shown by World Health Survey's evidence that it's the most effective way for consumers to select healthy consumables. So this is the octagonal label, which is very visible, and it says high in sugar, high in salt, sodium, high in trans fats. So this, when you go into the supermarket and you look at the shelf, you see the label on the product, and this is the easiest way rather than trying to read the fine print. And I'm getting older, gotten older, and that print gave me trouble from decades ago to read.
Absolutely. And finally, as the new chair, I know you will have your own objectives as new chair, but, is there any one thing that's kind of top of the table for you under your watch that you want to see being done?
Well, my top of the table is to get everybody sensitized about healthy nutrition. Our children have a right to healthy nutrition, so do our adults, and it reduces the national budget at the end of the day. And our foremost effort is action now. We need to act now. We need to get front of package warning labels on our products in collaboration. We know that industry has supported it in Barbados, and government has voiced support. As recently as last week, Minister of Small Business attended a workshop, and it was voiced they are in support. So we just need the action to happen now. We are not going to be happy with a lot of talk. We want to see it converted into action for the health of our children.
And as we look down the barrel of a new school term on the first day of school, your advice to parents, students, teachers, and all stakeholders?
My advice is to log on to the ministry's website. There is a one-page summary because it's actually a 58 or 50 to 60-page document. Who has time to read that? The school nutrition policy is a very key item. And I'll give some information where they can log on to the website, media resource department, which is mrd.gov.bb, and they can also communicate with our advocacy officer, Jan Phillips, which is at advocacyofficer@hsfbarbados.org, which is HSF is Heart and Stroke Foundation, or call 253-1676. We always have a door open to help a parent, a PTA, whomsoever, the door is open to this.
That, of course, is great to hear. I know the new executives coming in are most certainly going to be reaching out because they do a lot of talks and stuff like that throughout the school year. So again, congratulations on assuming the chairmanship, and we most certainly look forward to hearing all of the wonderful work that the coalition is doing, working along with you to make things happen as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break here on
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb and together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we commenced a series on breast health a few weeks ago with Dr. Dale Springer, Consultant General and Breast Surgeon at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. He's back this morning as we continue to look at breast health specifically and breast cancer awareness as well. Good morning, Dr. Springer. Good to have you with us as always. This morning we're hoping to take a look at... Good morning. We're hoping to take a look at the positive breast screening test. First of all, we talk a lot about screening, but nobody wants to go in and hear or find out that, you know, you do have a positive test. So let's talk through the actual screening to a positive result and what happens after.
Yes, thank you very much. Positive test, and the first thing I must say is that the screening test does not diagnose breast cancer. It just, a positive test means that the test is confirmed that you have it. So a lot of people, they get it and say you have to come back in, they have to come back in for the test and have anything worse. It doesn't mean that you have breast cancer. So the positive test come about because of many different reasons. So when you're doing a mammogram, it may be because of where the breast tissue compressed. You may see some shadowing there that is not, you're not quite sure about. Sometimes they may see a mass, which not necessarily means it's cancer. You may see some calcification, different things that can result in tests. So there are a few ways to get what can be called back in. There are many different steps you can take. So do you, for example, that you repeat the amount of compression, so you can look at the area which was not quite completely normal on the first test, or something ultrasound breast was to try to get better information of what caused the abnormality.
We're having some challenges with Dr. Springer there. Of course, today we're continuing with the breast health and breast cancer awareness series with him. But as is the case with technology sometimes, that's why we're looking to move everything back into the studio just the way it was before. However, you know, sometimes we have some challenges with technology, and with the children heading back out to school today, you know, maybe more people are online. Who knows what happens, particularly where you're in specific areas where there's high traffic and so on. So we most certainly will try to get back to that. In the interim, before we get back to that, you know, all of your first day pictures, I know you're posting them and you have them up, and the children, against their will, a lot of them don't want to take photographs. But as parents, we want to have that first day back to school photographs, especially for the little ones who are going from primary to secondary school. So it's a new uniform, it's a new school, it's a new bus route, meeting new friends, and that can be very challenging. We've been kind of holding your hand as we transition through that. Then, of course, some of the ones who are transitioning from the junior school to the senior school, so they're seniors for the first time. Those who've transitioned out of secondary school and are now at the tertiary level as well. So a special good morning to all of you, and wishing you the very best. Be yourself, make good choices, and you'll be just fine. Be yourself and make good choices. That's it. And trust me, you will be just fine. All right? For those ones who, you know, might be having a challenging morning, we know everybody doesn't have a good first day back. We certainly hope that it gets a little better. All right, we're going to take a break and come back as we try to reconnect with Dr. Springer. and see if we can get that connection re-established. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
98.1's The One is more than a station. We don't just play music, we keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed and entertained. We are a vibe. What do you mean?
Every day, we bring the party to you.
We are your #1 party station.
We love playing music for our listeners.
And we're committed to working with our clients and advertisers to make sure that you get the attention that you deserve.
98.1 The One, celebrating 18 and still your #1 party station.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Want to catch up on the sports headlines and newsmakers of the week? Then catch Final Score on CBC TV8, Fridays at 8:30 p.m. and repeat it Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Get in on the conversation on 228-5562 as we talk to the analysts and professionals in sports across Barbados. Fridays at 8:30 p.m. and repeat it Tuesdays at 2 p.m. right here.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Time check is 3 minutes to go before the 7 o'clock hour. We've been trying to reestablish our link online with Dr. Dale Springer as we continue our breast cancer awareness series. Good morning. Welcome back, Dr. Springer.
Hi, good morning. Hope this is a little better. Sorry about that.
That most certainly is a little better. All right, so we were talking about the positive breast screening test, and I think that we have to go over it just a bit and summarize exactly what you said, as it was a little choppy.
Right, so I was saying you get a positive test doesn't mean that you have breast cancer, because the screening test does not diagnose cancer. It just this is not a completely normal mammogram. We need to have a little bit more information. A lot of persons will think that when they get the call, oh, they have cancer, this is such a bad situation. But the majority of the times, it doesn't mean that you have cancer. It just means that you need some more information. So I was saying, like, for example, it could be if the breast was compressed, you can get a mass, which could be benign. We don't know when you get this call back after the positive mammogram screen.
All right, so the mammogram obviously is one way of screening. What are some of the other screening options? I would imagine if you have maybe a positive on one, you might want to delve a little deeper, and different tests might show different things perhaps?
Right, so if you have a positive mammogram, you usually get some more information. So you may be asked to come in another mammogram time, you use spectral views, compression views to have a look at the area where the abnormality was seen on the first mammogram to get some more information. You may also be asked to come in and do an ultrasound scan just to get a little bit more information of what the abnormality is. You may then go on to having the of the area.
All right, let's talk about the different types of biopsies that can be done based on what results you have in this test.
So the biopsies, the different types are basically either non-invasive, of a surgical incision or open biopsy, which we tend to stay away from. So in terms of the non-invasive biopsies, you can use the abnormality and then take a sample of that, and that is sent to the lab. But alternatively, if the abnormality is also seen on the ultrasound, you can use the ultrasound scan to guide you towards the abnormality and then take that biopsy and then send it to the lab. If in certain situations where it's not possible to use either the mammogram or the ultrasound, we end up having to put a tiny wire into the breast and then take the patient to theater and take out that wire and the surrounding abnormal breast tissue and send it to get her diagnosis. So that's the open biopsy surgical procedure, and all these procedures, both the minimally invasive ones and the open are day-care procedures, and they're usually done with anesthetic, so the patients wouldn't have any pain or discomfort. It would be minimal.
All right. I want to thank you, as always, Dr. Springer. Today was a bumpy ride for us, but we have to take it in stride. I think everybody is in for a bumpy ride today, with today being the first day back to school, so there's lots happening. Yeah. We certainly are going to try to rectify this connection so that we can hear every word you're saying as we move forward. But I think the true takeaway is make sure you continue to do your breast self-examinations and follow up if there's anything you need to follow up on.
Yeah, essentially, yes. Keep checking and follow up when necessary.
All right. You have a wonderful day and a great week ahead.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dale Springer, Consultant General and Breast Surgeon at the QEH, sharing with us this morning. Well, it's just after 7 o'clock. It's time for an update of the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's Monday, September 18th. It's time for an update of the news. The real matters affecting youth in today's digital era will be placed under the microscope over the coming days. This is being done as the Barbados Society of Psychology observes Psychology Week. It got underway yesterday with a service signaling its start at the Church of the Nazarene at Colombo Rock. Other activities, including a student forum teaching about psychology and its different fields, an educational session for its members, and a social gathering are planned. Psychology Week is being observed under the theme Mind Matters in the Digital Era, Youth, Community, and Mental Health Online. President Ronald Pope says the public forum comes as youth struggle to cope with a range of issues. He stressed that mental health professionals have a passion for their work, and the profession is about caring as mental health matters.
Care about the people that you work with. One thing pushes you, and that is having the blessings of the Lord guiding you. And as we go through the week, working with the students and also having the panel discussion, the social here at the church as well, I just want to leave you with one thing, and that is mental health matters. Don't forget it. Mental health matters. We think it's a stigma. We have negative things we say about it, but I just want you to remember mental health matters.
And creating healthy habits can be challenging. The Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition is telling parents and guardians it's possible to provide cost-effective, healthy snacks. Mindful of the new national school nutrition policy with the start of the new school term today, the coalition rolled out its Healthy Hampers Back to School edition. This is the second hamper drive, the first being in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, targeting Barbadians living with non-communicable diseases. 120 packed healthy hampers were donated with the assistance of its sponsors, Signia Globe, Supreme Distributors and Guardian General Group, to the less fortunate this time around. Outgoing Chair Dr. Kia Lewis says children homes benefited along with at-risk youth from the Heart and Stroke Foundation. Dr. Lewis broke down the contents of the Healthy Hamper for parents to consider.
We've done it in keeping with the Ministry of Education. They said at least 3 water days, so you will see several bottles of water in the hamper. But just to note, an even cheaper way would be to buy a water bottle, right? Also, you will see several fruits to represent the fruit days, the 2 fruit days, and include a few packaged snacks as well. All of these are very, very reasonable snacks. And again, they're snacks that you will find on the new alternative snack and beverage list. So we've also included 2 100% juices, as this has also been approved. So we're just really, really pleased to be able to roll out this initiative, and we're hoping that we can help Barbadian parents to make better decisions.
It's Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 on our radio network of stations. Stay with us. Morning Barbados continues after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
98.1 to 1 is more than a station. We don't just play music, we keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed and entertained. We are a vibe. What do you mean?
Every day we bring the party to you.
We are your #1 party station.
We love playing music for our listeners.
And we're committed to working with our clients and advertisers to make sure that you get the attention that you deserve.
98.1 The One, celebrating 18.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock. I know we're showing off pictures. I'm showing off mine too. Unfortunately, I can't be there. So have a great day, Alyssa. Good first day back to school. And to all of my nieces and nephews as well, heading back out. Zai and Janasha and Kanan and Andrea and Shivani. And yeah, lots of nieces and nephews. Yeah, but my big girl heading back out. Yeah, heading back out to school. You can't see that, but I'm showing off. All right, so Dr. Dale Brathwaite is back with us this morning. And it's always wonderful to have a conversation with you, Dr. Brathwaite. So good morning. I know that your little one is heading out to secondary school.
Yes.
For the first time.
Yes, please.
Yeah, good stuff.
You got that right.
And I know that you feared some of the traffic coming in. We always anticipate first day traffic woes, so you had a little bit of that getting here.
Yes, just above Koeman and trying to get in. Thank God the guy who brought me here, he knew the roads. And then we got to a point that I had to skip over the bridge and get in because there was an accident coming out of the Pine, and I got here.
I'm happy you're here. Now, before we delve into where we're going today, first of all, Dr. Dale Brathwaite is a naturopath, and we're talking generally about health and maybe healthy alternatives and things of that nature. Any ways to calm the nerves on a day like today that you can share?
Yes. One of the things that one has to do is learn to breathe. And as you breathe, as oxygen is a major catalyst for every bodily function and even fat loss and so forth, if an individual bad drives you, that's his fault. But you protect yourself and your vehicle by not necessarily just racking the wheel and pulling away, but be careful enough to use your rear view mirrors inside the car and the two wings to make sure that you don't cause an accident, because most likely that individual will escape. It is highly probable, but then you cause it. You say, but so-and-so did this. Barbados law does not operate like that. If you were in Puerto Rico, maybe, but not Barbados. So in essence, you have to do your defensive driving to achieve your goals and objectives. For example, if you're driving behind somebody, you can't see the wheels, you're too close. You need to consider at least a car length or a half. Once you find that no, you are getting to somebody faster than usual, it means they're slowing down. So there's several other things we got to look at whilst on the road to make sure that we don't cause an accident. Because accident pains, which I know of, ain't easy.
Yeah.
I had one on the 26th of May, and sitting down was hard. Getting back up was even worse. So I'm on the mends as I sit here and as I talk.
Wow.
Because when I leave here, going to therapy.
Wow, so we appreciate that you're here. Now, you wanted to talk about getting adequate rest, which really ties into what we're doing as well. I don't know if parents started getting the little ones back into a routine, or if there even is a routine, because these days, some parents just let the children put themselves to bed whenever they want to. They tend to be on the devices for extended periods of time. And sometimes it's legitimately so under the guise of maybe doing homework for long hours and so on. How important is getting adequate rest in just taking care of your overall health?
All right, I'm going to answer that in full. But there are three things that leads up to obesity, if not managed properly: rest, exercise, and diet. If rest is off, your entire endocrine system, which deals with what we call homeostasis, causes your body to function in what is called movement skills or biomechanics, biomedical issues, will be off. And you will find that there is morning irritability. One of the things that challenges the human is our contemporary time, this common era or whatever, whereby we have more lights at night than ever before. As a result, your body interprets light ingestion as daytime. So if I use my digital devices, and most of the time they're emitting blue light causes the human to have a deficit of 4 hours. So if you say you had 8 hours sleep, sometimes there's only 2. Because if you go to bed with a leader of, like, you want to get to bed for 9 o'clock, you need to shut off blue light by 8. In addition, you need to put some tissues or cloth or cucumber on your eyes, because that blue light then pushes you into a deficit of 4 hours, which means, as I deal with clients, the sleep was inadequate. As a result, you find that your diet, your exercise, or your diet changes, and it promotes storage. The adipose tissue, the issue of subcutaneous fat, the issue of visceral fat, because now you're going to be irritable, your cortisol level is going to be higher. As a result, now the cortisol level brings us to a place of fight versus flight. So you're going to be finding yourself into, I feel to move and this, and then you're going to be looking for energy, and you're going to snack some, there's carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. You're going to snack something, and most likely it's not a protein factor with vegetables. So you're going to put in some sugar. So you get a high. As a result, now you get that building up towards obesity. And sometimes inside there, you have the factor where our body moves in cycles. We can look at 21 and come back, or even 5 years and work back. And it changes every 5 years, and every 10 years and stuff, your bones reset and this kind of thing. Most of us has heard about stage 4 cancer, the frothing of the bones, and you just got like a little kind of meshing, and the quality bone gone. Now, if rest is off, bone density, muscle mass will be challenged. So you then got another lead up to obesity issues. So within that factor, you have one day and we put in an overload more than our body can handle to work with or metabolize, you're going to have no fat deposits. And fat does not say where it's going to go. Neither no amount of exercise is going to have what we call operating by the law of specificity to move fat off my face, off my legs.
Yeah.
You got to work the whole body. So this fat that is intended to serve you becomes now your biggest nightmare. So how do we revert if you deal with stage 1 in rest? We have to plan to rest. We got to determine to shut down things. So if we're not doing that, for example, if you're up all night on the computer and stuff, carpal tunnel issues can come in. And sometimes you're doing stretch. So these are some of the things that are going to hit us. And then we say, man, how I get big? Yeah, no. You put in fuel and you burn it. So 1 day of fat goes into 7 days. And no, we still ain't burning, but we're making deposits. It goes into 14 days. It goes into 21. How you going to get that burn? So you know, go and multiply that 21 by 3 to start offloading the first week.
All right, so we talked about the rest. The next cog in this wheel that you mentioned is exercise. And for a lot of us, we're now living very sedentary lifestyles in that with the technology, a lot more people are behind computers or behind devices working in that way and not necessarily toiling the way we did before. So how do we work that into what we're doing on a daily basis so we're truly benefiting from the exercise?
All right, when you were asking me that question, right, what I was thinking about is this. When you're going in town, try and walk. You get me? You're going in town, you still use a cell phone, and you say, well, look, I need such and such and such. Don't wear certain high heel shoes, right? But certain casuals, and walk from store to store and stuff, and that's a form of movement. Exercise when it comes to the semi-obese to the obese, and even the skinny person, still at a major risk. So you got to look at small movements. If you want to start off, I would say to people, get up in the morning, do a little stretch and stuff, and walk through your house for 3 minutes. And do that for 7 days. Next week, no, because we're looking at adaptation. Next week, no, we walk through the house for 6 minutes. And we keep adding on and adding on. After a while, when we start getting to 15 minutes, we then look at giving consideration to like every other day. So we're working our way into 45 minutes, and we keep doing that. When we're looking at exercise, it is not an issue of punishment. It's an issue of using what I've deposited to help me. In addition, lack of exercise means fragile bones. Because once you start to have weight-bearing exercises, your bone density becomes even better. Your connective elements of the ligaments and tendons begin to function better, because if your ligaments and tendons are off, likewise, all the muscle mass that we think we got, we're still weak. So we got to get exercises that will cause us to move wrong and be flexible and that kind of thing. So we come from what you were calling earlier, the sedentary to the active, back to the sedentary. Ladies in particular who wear tall heel shoes, I talk about an inch to the front and 4 to the back. When it's skillful, is real professional people. And if you got that, you know, it's got like a little nail to the back, you call it spike heels? I don't know. But the thing is that these ladies just go to the gym. When they go to the gym, imagine the calf was already set. And having been set, they don't bring them back down and prepare them for movement. So you're mashing it yourself again. So you got to do what is called preparatory exercises or drills in order to get moving in the gym. And then watch what the women just do. Just get on the bike now, and the calves and the hamstring and the glute, you know, in the gym now the thing is my buttocks, boxy.
You know, Botox is something else.
I know, I ain't got them fancy word, but nevertheless, they go, man, they're squatting. Listen, man, you're mashing it yourself. Because that central point, you have to be careful. Between the sciatic nerve and the piriformis and so forth, a little muscle and how the sciatic nerve, we're hearing people talking about sciatica, is a little connectivity. And if either one hurt, God help you. Can't sit down, can't stand up properly, can't walk, and weight bearing, because there's a central point for human activity. So you have to take time to move in order to move. So you're preparing yourself for the activity. When you're finished, you go from there. We're going to deal with this another time.
So basically what you said is, in between there, make sure you maybe do stretches.
No, that comes after.
To get your body ready.
No, it's just a little shoulder moves.
I hear a lot of people talk about exercising cold. Is that a thing?
I know about that, but what I can tell you, you gotta warm up to move.
Okay.
So what you're doing?
That was basically what I was asking.
No problem.
Making sure that you have to warm.
Watch my wrist rolling over. You want to do bench presses and stuff, so you don't go and take it thing and go along. So you just sort of move a little bit here, move a little bit there. You got me? And you're moving everything.
So you're getting into it basically the same way you talked about, starting slowly, walking through the house in the morning, where you're warming the body, kind of, you know, getting the body accustomed to the movement.
Yes, for the intended movement, because remember, inside of you and I, you got the blood system, and the brain, which is a primary part of the endocrine system, got to release blood for you to do what you're doing. So you got the hormones factor inside the endocrine system, and then you also have the amino acid factor, which is the water part and this kind of thing. So if that is not released, your bodily functions will be in trouble. So you then have to look at coming out of a sense of doing nothing to doing something, and these things have to be deliberate. Inside of that deliberateness, you have people who used to run at school, and maybe even in their senior years, not the senior games. So you have some people who are good at short distances. You got some who are good at intermediate distances. Then you got some good at long distances. And each person who carries a muscle set of fast twitch, intermediate, and slow twitch, sometimes you're more predominantly set in either one, but the intermediate can help offset the other. Now, because you may have had a sporting background, your later years got to reflect what you used to do. Otherwise, it would be difficult training you. Because if your muscle fiber type is of fast twitch and it gives you long distance, you get bored because the muscle fiber type that wants to fire ain't firing. So you're going to discover it. So in the past, you used to do something called a jumps test. And depending on how the person functions by their standard, you're able to train this. If you're targeting fat, we're going to do more explosive work because it then taps into the get alongness of moving. Yeah, man.
Get alongness. I like that word. All right, so let's talk now about close the gap, close the circle, inadequate diet. So we talked about rest, exercise, next cog in this wheel.
Diet. So we call it living in the red. No, people that's kind of me, man, you ain't gonna give me something for this, we in this time. You take this to do that. Listen, boss. When we look at diet, it must be indigenous and nutrient dense. Because you got to service every part of you. And just looking at your brown eyes just now, it reminds me of something that I did rehearsing and revising and things for true. The same problems that we get with our eyes towards glaucoma and all the factors involved, omega-3 helps to retard what is called the glaucoma factor and all these breakdownness of the eyes. So if we're not putting in healthy fats, we can't burn fat. In addition, our diet has to be filled with vitamins, enzymes, vitamins, minerals, and so forth. As it is filled then, you find you're able then to metabolize your food better. It comes through the mouth, and when we talk about diet, you need to take time to chew. Don't count to 30, 40, or 50, but keep biting it up, chewing it up till it becomes liquid to go down. Because just in case you're really hungry, once your food is pulverized, thoroughly mashed up, and you swallow, a little bit can enter into the bloodstream and help you.
All right. So the two key takeaways that you want us to go away today, you know, with top of mind, are about hormones.
Yeah.
We're thinking about hormones.
Well, the human body is filled with it.
We need to think about them.
For sure.
All right. So tell us why, quickly.
All right, because there are two hormone factors, leptin and ghrelin. And one is turn on for hunger, and the other is turn off. So if you don't got enough in you that helps your get alongness and going longness, one of the things is this, that it will call for more food when you haven't utilized what you had. The other one is going to be unable to shut because there's still a need. So the human endocrine system helps you with what is called homeostasis. Keep your balance cool and nice.
All right, so good stuff. Adequate rest, appropriate exercise, and adequate diet is what
right,
we're looking at.
And keep in mind,
Good
we ain't
place to
talking
start.
about no big time thing, you're going to this boy and this. We're talking eating good food, man.
All right. And I love that he said indigenous food. Think about that. All right, thank you as always. Very, very enlightening and entertaining. Dr. Dale Brathwaite, but some great takeaways for us to take through this new week, especially as we look at making those nice healthy snacks for the children, giving them something nice every day. Think about the indigenous stuff out there that we can give them, not just a boring apple a day. There are other things from here in Barbados that we can share that can make having fruit an interesting thing. I'm going to work on it too. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking with the team heading out to Aruba soon to represent Barbados in the field of bodybuilding. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so 26 minutes after 7 o'clock. If you're not out of the door, I don't know what's going to happen with you, especially with the traffic. You know, the traffic must be crazy. We have some other people here who are going to tell us how the traffic was. So help me welcome Shakira Dougling, who's the team coach for the Barbados bodybuilding team. She's brought along Sanaj Lewis, who is the overall bodybuilding champion as well. And I believe we have Timon Howard, maybe online. He's a junior bodybuilding champion. All right. I think we're experiencing some challenges, some technical challenges, so we must apologize. Let's take a commercial break here and come on back. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
98.1's a one. It's more than a station. We don't just play music. We keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed and entertained. We are a vibe. What do you mean?
Every day we bring the party to you. We are your #1 party station.
We love playing music for our listeners.
And we're committed to working with our clients and advertisers to make sure that you get the attention that you deserve.
98.1, the one.
Celebrating 18 and still your #1 party station.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, let's hope this time it's working. Testing. 1, 2. Good morning and welcome back. Good to have you with us. Before we went to break, we were telling you all about the Barbados bodybuilding team set to leave for Aruba on Thursday morning, and we have a few familiar faces with us. So Sanaj Lewis, Shakira Dougling, Timon Howard. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, good morning. Glad to be here.
All right, good to have you with us. All right, so set the tone for us, Shakira. Talk to us about Team Barbados.
Okay, so we have a 12-member team. We have Tamon Howard, Sanaj Lewis, Shaniqua Allenby, Danielle Gill, Julian Belgrave, Trudy Ann Bavell, Michaela Faria, Rashida Belgrave, Hugo Graves, Bukaya Providence, Ronaldo Bourne, and Gerard Mason making up the team with the exec from the Bodybuilding Federation to accompany them, and I will be a part of that team, just providing support as coach and as posing coach. And you know, the backstage drama, I will just be there to lend a hand, as all athletes do need that hand when they're getting ready for stage. This show would begin on Saturday and will also go into Sunday, so they have 2 days of competition. All athletes will not be competing on both days though. So we're just getting all ramped up with our posing sessions and just trying to see what we can do with the 10, 12 days we had from the national event September 9th, between the 9th and now, going into CAC. We're just trying to get everything done so that we can go over there comfortably, ready to win.
Now I know these are the top performers from the Roger Boys Classic that came off a little bit earlier this year. You know, at that stage when we saw them and we talked to them, we were thinking, okay, maybe a little break. Not so much.
Not at all, not at all. Actually, a lot of them were more eager to move forward and do another contest and be on stage again amongst regional and international athletes, of course. So a lot of the athletes were excited to move ahead and go to CAC.
All right, excellent. Sanaj, talk to me about your journey in bodybuilding.
Morning, ma'am. Basically, my journey in bodybuilding was great experience. This is my 5th show for the year. Did the ABC in the house. I won that. I also did the Roger Boys Amateur. I won the division that. Also traveled to Guyana and participated in state champions. Actually won my category also, came third overall. And I won Mr. Barbados.
Yeah.
Having been the first police officer ever.
Oh, so he's a police officer. So, you know, I'm not going to ask you if those guns can fit into the police shirt. You know, that would be totally inappropriate. Yeah, outside of the getting to the actual competition, as you mentioned, there's definitely a lot that will be happening.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of getting ready. Talk to me about what it calls for with the professional team, the coaching team, who will be accompanying the entire team to go represent for Barbados at CAC?
Well, outside of the preparation of getting travel airline tickets and accommodation sorted, we do have to come together as a group a couple times, at least twice a week, with posing sessions to make sure everybody is ready for the level of contest. Because with the bodybuilding prep, you know, after show you can kind of get too excited with the meals you were not able to consume. So we just come together as a group to keep everyone accountable, and we do that twice a week. Right now we will probably have one of those sessions today, just getting ready to travel for CAC on Thursday. And that's pretty much it. The athletes themselves are doing the bulk of the work on their own. They have to maintain their training sessions, they have to maintain their diet, and whatever else that would require, as they all still have professional lives, so that we can all move on to CAC comfortably and ready to go.
We will most certainly be looking on. For you, Sanaj, you know, what's the transition like? Because we talked a lot before about athletes, particularly on a very strict regimen when it comes to diet and exercise. Sometimes travel can be a little disruptive. So talk to me about what it is like transitioning as you move from your routine to going to compete, but still, you know, staying on point with that routine.
Basically, we're traveling the Thursday. Not much time between the show. So basically, we're having most of my meals before then. I normally freeze my meals and take it with me, because I don't like to take the risk of eating stuff that I may not know about. I find that dieting, Mr. Buffett spoke about it earlier, is a bit challenging. You got to stick to a diet. A lot of persons will come up to you and say, I want to lose fat around my belly. But as Dr. Buffett said, the fat don't determine where it's loose from. You go up and in that work, and you always want that intensity. And I find that in bodybuilding, you can have a lot of distractions. It's a very expensive sport, and you really have to be focused and you gotta set clear and precise goals, not too ambitious, and you gotta take it day by day.
Is this something you've always been interested in, or did you kind of develop an interest over time?
Well, basically, for my career path, I always had the drive to be fit, because you always want a good appearance and a good presentation and deliver a proper package to the public. So I find that I used to always take fitness serious. It's only been for the last 3 years, I really buckled down and I really focused on my diet and my resting and stuff like that. And when I first competed, I was a bit like I say, off. I just jumped into it. It was basically to support one of my colleagues. And when I actually got there, I told myself, this is something I can actually dominate. So I really set realistic goals and challenge from there.
Now you're the overall bodybuilding champion. What does that mean to you? As you mentioned, 3 years or so in as taking it as a serious part of what you want to do?
Basically, it's a good feeling. A lot of persons, they no longer call me by my name. If I walk through town, I just Mr. Barbados. So it's a bit funny at times, but there were a lot of great persons before me that really contributed to this sport. So it's good to really sit in most of those leagues.
There's some Bajans or something else, Mr. Barbados.
You get a nickname so quickly.
Yeah, for you, Shakira, I know that you are accustomed, you're no stranger to the stage in terms of competition. How different is it for you to step away from the stage and take on the role as coach or support, as opposed to being up there in front of those lights competing?
It came as a true surprise and an honor at the same time, because you've always had the shoes of the athlete. You've observed the role being completed and done by someone else for so many years where they were helping you. So to find yourself in those shoes actually feels like an honor. And at the same time, I've always been open to assisting persons. Even as a competitor, I have done similar things. I've just never did it in an official capacity. So it feels like a bit of what I'm accustomed to doing, but at the same time, it still feels like a huge honor to be recommended and to be asked to be a part of this team.
All right, that's excellent. What are you looking forward to most, Sinaj, when you head off Mr. Barbados for this competition? You should have never told me that. I'm going to call you only Mr. Barbados now. So what are you looking forward to most? Your particular area, you're competing in what area?
I'll be competing in bodybuilding. Basically, just to bring back a package that I did at Barbados Nationals. I believe once I bring a good package, because always to bring a good package at every show. Once I bring that package, I believe I should come out on top.
All right, excellent. We look forward to that, Mr. Barbados. After all, you carry that title, so, I mean, got to bring it home for Barbados.
Yeah, and definitely we want to thank everyone who would have been a part of this, the executive, the sponsors, the athletes who still let year after year, show after show come out, because of course we need them to keep the sport alive. So we want to thank everybody who has been involved in this venture, including yourself, you know, because it is a huge passion of mine. I love to see when people get involved and it becomes their passion, of course. So that's why I do what I do. I just assist them in their journey, and now I'm doing it in an unofficial capacity. It's amazing, but I just genuinely thank everybody who has been a part of this process.
All right, and we definitely look forward to, hearing a little bit more as you go through to find out what will be happening. The guys are heading off to the regional competition. That's the Central American and Caribbean Bodybuilding Championships, 21st to 25th of September. They're going to leave on the 20th for Aruba and get ready.
Yes.
We also have Timon online. Hello.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be on.
There you are. I wasn't sure that they had you online, so I was here talking to the others, and you must be there thinking they're going along without me. Absolutely not. I wasn't.
No problem.
All right, so you are the junior bodybuilding champion. Tell me how you got involved in bodybuilding.
Well, I would have gotten involved in bodybuilding first through boxing, actually, by the National Stadium, through the National Sports Council summer camp. I would have started gym there around next to the boxing gym to get a bit more strength and power and stuff like that for boxing. But then seeing some of the guys in there who were competing and such, I really got interested and it piqued me, and I decided to try it out. So I tried schoolboys, then I did Bridgetown, got junior Mr. Senior to Bridgetown, and then I did schoolboys again. And then my first show this year after coming off of COVID were the ABC fitness competition, and I came second there. And then I came back again to nationals, second show for the year, and I got the title Junior Mr. Barbados there, under the guidance of my coach Stevenson Bell, who really has been helping me very much in terms of getting the kind of quality that I want to see on stage from myself.
All right, what are your hopes going into the CAC competition, being able to not only represent now on a competition level what's happening here on island, but most certainly representing for your country?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a privilege, and I'm grateful for it. This is my first time going away and representing like this, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the scene is like, scouting out, and just having the experience so that I would know what to expect for future reference. Definitely not the last time I expect to go. It's the first but not the last. And so just trying and going and do my best. I've got a lot of people behind me, coach, family, friends, the same national athletes that are going and supporting, and the other exec from the BABBF. So just looking forward to doing my best on the day and really, really showing the people something spectacular.
All right, what has been your preparation leading up to? Did you have to make any drastic changes in preparation for this, or has it just been a consistent journey for you?
Well, it is training as usual, same very high intensity, and making sure to also prioritize recovery and rest. The diet obviously adjusts based on what the coach sees, so based on what he's seeing, and he will make the adjustments as necessary so that the physique would look as he expects to see it. So that's just been the consistent process. Keep training, eating, make adjustments based on what's the update, and continuing.
All right, excellent. You guys most certainly seem ready. I'm excited about the prospects of bringing home to Barbados some big medals.
Yes, I'm sure that all the athletes are excited for that potential. They would have been a part of the CAC championships that was held in Barbados last year. Some of them have experience, some are starting for the first time this year. So all of them are very eager to see what the outcomes would be, and as the execs and myself, I can speak for them a bit. We will support them in whatever it takes to get there.
Oh, that is truly excellent. What advice do you have for everybody else going in, your other teammates and so on, as you prepare to head off this week?
Basically, stay focused. Preparing for this show for the entire year. You don't want to lose track now. Only a couple of days. Stick on your diet, as Mr. Bradford said, and don't fall away. Rest is always adequate and important. Also, you need that support system. I believe I got that from my peers, also my coach, Mr. Tyrone Brooms, Elias Chipais. I remember last year he bought a newspaper for the former Mr. Barbados, that was Ramon Brooms. And he showed me paper and said, this is you, this will be you next year.
Wow.
And we really worked towards that goal. He used to train every morning for 5 o'clock. He's always getting that early morning training. Also, I believe I got a good support from the senior command team, the Barbados Police Service, also from my girlfriend and other peers. So you really need that support system going forward, and you need to channel that energy in the right direction. And stay away from social media sometimes. It can be a little distracting. Anytime you're preparing for a show, you got to listen to or focus on the persons that you've been listening to throughout the year. Because a lot of persons will come to you and they give you a little advice, but it can't be all over the place.
Okay.
You got to be really focused.
Good stuff. Now for you, Timon, I know that you mentioned that you started with the schoolboy competition as we prepare for our big day back to school today, and we're looking at all that's happening. Little birdie told me there might be some interesting prospects for the schoolboys and schoolgirls coming up pretty soon. Who knows? Maybe in another couple months. But we certainly have to hear more about that. You know, what would you say to them about this life that you've built for yourself in the field of bodybuilding?
I would say definitely if you are interested in it and you are committed to it, definitely go for it. It will take work in terms of the training to build the physique that you want, in terms of the dieting, in terms of the rest. It's very meticulous. But once you're willing to be committed to it, you'll be ever.
All right, I want to thank you to Mon Howard, junior bodybuilding champion, and Sanaj Lewis, overall bodybuilding champion, aka Mr. Barbados.
Yes, please.
And junior Mr. Barbados. So Mr. Barbados is gone already. Can't get that. And of course, Shakira Duglin, team coach for the Barbados bodybuilding team. Best wishes to you and the entire team. Keep us informed. We want to know how the guys and girls will be doing. I follow everybody online, so I know that they're always ready and roaring to go and preparing. So good luck. Congratulations to those of you who've made the team. Make us proud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take another break here. But coming up, a flashback video with an American who moved to Barbados. We're going to share her story through a video. That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
It's summer vacation, and CBC TV8 says laugh a little. Your mid-mornings have now included some family-friendly, side-splitting series like The Partridge Family, Benson, and Designing Women. TV not to be missed this vacation. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on CBC TV8. It's Match Day Live from the 246 with host Damian Best. Your all-access.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
London. My first time having a Bajan cheese cutter.
I know come this life to suffer. If I follow politician, you go here and for paper. You go call them prostitution.
It was warm and tasty. I'll definitely be eating these more often.
That looks so good. That looks so good. She joins us now. This is this global traveler called Mac. It's Lady Mac. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. How are you?
I'm well. First of all, we call ourselves Bajan. Say it for me.
Okay. Bajan.
Yes, not Bajan. Bajan. All right. So be clear on that. Okay. I also saw when I browsed your Instagram page that you also love coconut water and red fruit tea.
I do. It was a recommendation from one of my followers, and I did give it a try. Yes.
Listen, you've truly become quite Bajan. I actually love that. Your story tells a tale of someone who is adventurous, I think, who took herself up and said, you know what, I'm going to Africa. I've been to Thailand, you've been to Cuba, you've been to so many places. Why?
Why? Well, I enjoy traveling. My mom sent me to Paris for the first time when I was 12 years old for the summer, and that is when I fell in love with traveling.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't it scare you, though, giving up your security of your home and taking on the adventure? Because sometimes it could go wrong. Doesn't it scare you?
It doesn't scare me at all. Well, I'm a Christian, and so my faith is in the Lord that He'll keep me wherever I go. So whether I'm home or I'm traveling, I'm always at risk.
I'm so glad to hear you say you're a Christian. You're now too also a Bajan. So that's wonderful. So you've settled. You went to Ghana, you went to Tanzania, you went really to Africa. You've been to Thailand, you've been to Cuba. Where else have you been?
Well, I've been to Haiti, I've been to St. Lucia, Cuba, I've been to Italy, France, London, I've been to the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao, Grenada, Grand Cayman, Jamaica. Yes.
Your passport must be heavy with stamps and all the like indeed. And now you've been in Barbados for over 6 months now. What is it about this island of ours that caused you to spend some time to plant some roots, so to speak?
Well, to keep it short, I fell in love with a Barbadian.
What does that mean?
That means I came to Barbados for love.
I got you. And coming to Barbados for love, you fell in love with our island, you fell in love with our culture as well. Now, for me, who live here, sometimes we don't quite see what you see. Tell me what you see about our island that you think perhaps as a Bajan we don't quite get.
Well, I'm not sure what you wouldn't quite get. I know that I've been enjoying my time here. I do think that perhaps a lot of fruits and vegetables that might be new to me, Asians might be very used to. For example, I tried breadfruit for the first time. I've seen it in supermarkets, but it wasn't something that I would pick up and try. Being introduced to, I think it's called sugar apple, being introduced to golden apple. Those are some of the things I tried for the first time on the island.
And fell in love with them, I hope?
Yes.
Yes. Golden apple is one of my favorite fruits indeed. It's a favorite fruit of many Barbadians as well. You can eat it from the seed straight off, or you can make it into juices and the like. You can do all sorts of wonderful things with that one little fruit. It's quite filling, quite refreshing as you go. I'm teaching you a little bit because I really want to hear from you too about how does your experience here, having fallen in love with a Bajan, but still falling in love with Barbados as well. How does that experience living here compare with some other places that you've been?
Well, interestingly enough, I find that Barbados and Ghana are reminiscent of each other. They do remind me of one another. Yes. So Barbados, though, I find there's a lot of, one of my favorite things about Barbados is that it's a lot of community living. I find that people tend to live together. I feel like my neighbors are like family to me. Whereas back home, you know, people may be more busy. People go to work, come home. I moved here from Stamford, Connecticut, so it can get very cold. So you don't find people outside on their patios very much. But here in Barbados, I find that people are outside more often, waving to each other when you pass by. So that is one of the things that I do enjoy here.
Prior to coming to Barbados, having lived in America where all you get is your local news generally, what did you know about Barbados?
To be very honest, only that Rihanna was from here.
Thank God for Rihanna. That's all you knew. But now you know there's so much more than Rihanna. There's so much more to who we are.
Yes.
And there
so
you are.
Much more, yes.
When you had that experience of going to see her home where she was born and raised, what was that experience like?
It was an interesting experience, you know, trying to get into the community. But it was a really lovely experience to have, to see where she had come from and to imagine, like, wow, this woman came from, you know, a very small rock, if I could say that, and has become one of the world's billionaires. I think it's remarkable. I think it's amazing. She's inspiring, in fact.
Indeed, and there's so many other Barbadians, I'm sure over time you'll get to discover, who have also done exceedingly well on the global stage. But from this little island, we do as well as we possibly can, because we do not see ourselves to be less than anyone else from anywhere, as small as we are. Now, you tell your Instagrammers, you tell your followers about your experience wherever you go. What do they say now to you about your experience in Barbados? What are they saying to you when you share with them what you go through?
Well, a lot of people ask questions about visiting the island. So people are curious about what places to visit, where to go eat, where to stay. Those are the kind of questions I get mostly from my followers.
All right, so where to go eat? Tell me.
Where to go eat? Okay, well, one of my favorite spots is Fisherman's Pub. I also like Eddie's Barbecue. I like Kim's Grill. So those are some of my favorite spots on the island.
This is nice. No, I don't even know Eddie's, this Eddie's place that you're talking about, so I now need to go discover it. I also see that you've had the train ride at St. Nicholas Abbey. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was a nice experience. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I'm from Stamford, Connecticut, so getting on a train is not a new experience for me. I thought it was nice for it to go up to the view. I can't remember the name of the view, but it takes you to this really nice overlooking of, I guess, the east coast of the island.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a really nice picturesque train ride that I think was a great experience for me.
And I'm asking you these questions because living here, we oftentimes take it all for granted. And we don't go in search of these things because we assume that, you know, that's for you guys who visit periodically. And so many times Barbadians themselves don't get to see the spectacular or have that spectacular experience that visitors to our island have. And so for me to hear you say these are some wonderful eating spots, these are some wonderful places to go to have this panoramic view, I hope it's inspiring more and more Barbadians to want to get it and discover our own island for ourselves and not wait to have someone else pipe it through from their own eyes. So that's your best spot to go eat. That's your best, one of your best experiences on the train. Have you had a chance now to go to the beaches? And if so, which is your favorite beach?
Absolutely. In fact, I was at the beach yesterday. My favorite beach is Browns Beach, the beach that's near Boatyard.
Yes.
Yes. That's my favorite beach.
What about that beach do you find is so fun?
I find that the water is extra turquoise and blue there. The sand is extremely white, and so that's my favorite thing about it.
Good. So we've got the beach. Now, you've made some fish cakes. Have you tried those yet? That's another one of our delicacies here.
Absolutely. I had fish cakes maybe twice in the last 3 days.
Wow.
Yes, I love fish cakes. Oh, yep, that's me and my Bajan mom making fish cakes. Yes, I love fish cakes.
And this is something you did not know about prior to visiting Barbados, was it? You never knew about it?
No, I'd never heard of fish cakes. In Miami, though, I had been introduced to conch fritters, which is from Bahamas. So that is the closest thing to it. But fish cakes, no. I mean, I can eat 15 in one sitting. I love fish cakes.
You have truly become quite a Bajan indeed. And we have something we call a bread and two. Do you know what that means?
Yes, that means 2 fish cakes and a salt bread.
You got it indeed. And so you've had your cheese cutter, you've had your bread and two, you've had your coconut water and red fruity. Have you tried Mobby?
I have. You like Mobby? Yes.
I can tear the bark off of you. You're so very right. You know, it is one of those very refreshing beverages here. But you do know, have you learned about where it originated, how it came about, where it's boiled from?
I have not, other than that it comes from a bark, but I'm not familiar with the history of it.
Yeah, so I'm sure you get a chance to discover the tree from which we take the bark and we can boil it there. But there's some who obviously, you know, for industrial purposes is already set in bottles. So you just add water to it and you're good to go for ease of convenience.
Yes.
This is so fun, looking at Barbados through your eyes, Mac. But you've decided to also live your life on the social media space. Why? And doesn't it scare you doing so?
That's a great question. To be very honest, it actually was a fluke. I was creating videos to share with my friends, and I left one up on my TikTok by accident. And when I came back to my TikTok page, I had a couple of 100 views on it. I said, oh, is this a fluke or are people really interested in this? And so I tried it again. I posted another video, and again, I got views and I got followers. And initially, my content was intended for American expats or for anyone who wanted to visit Barbados. But I found that Bajans were actually really interested in my content, and they began recommending things for me to try, places to go. And many of them said, wow, you know, they also felt like I was showing them different things in Barbados that they weren't aware of or had not experienced yet. So it was actually a fluke for me to be on social media. I did move to Instagram so that people could be able to message me. On TikTok. That feature isn't readily available as it is on Instagram.
This is so fascinating. Her handle is This is Lady Mac. M-A-C. This is Lady Mac. And so it's my pleasure meeting you this morning. Thank you so much for sharing the beauty of Barbados.
Thank you so much.
And for sharing that Bajan experience with the world. And I really wish you the best in love. I hope it really works out to be something very long term that eventually you too can set home and set roots here as well. But thank you for joining us this morning. All the best. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You're welcome indeed.
Bye-bye.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's Match Day Live from the 246 with host Damian Best. Your all-access pass to the action happening in the BFA Premier League and beyond. Every last Monday of the month on CBC TV8. Kickoff time, 8:30 p.m. with analysis from our panel and highlights of the top performances. You can weigh in on the discussion via WhatsApp on 228-5562. It's Match Day Live from the 246. Don't you miss it.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack? Or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, that's it from us for today. Have a happy first day back to school for teachers and, of course, all of the staff heading out and the students as well. Remember to wear your smiles today. Have a great day today and a good week ahead. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to tell you what's happening with Fire Service Week and conversations on CARICOM, among other things. That's all tomorrow on Morning Barbados. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados.